Evening, everybody. Welcome to our Tara group, where we're continuing to study the text, the Red Tara commentary, written by Chagdud Khadro, following the instructions of Chagdud Rinpoche. It's a rainy morning here in Curitiba, in southern Brazil, which is good because we've been having a drought, so we're happy to see the rain. I hope that wherever you are safe, and that you have all of the things that you need to make it through this strange time that we're going through. It's a very important time for us to all unite our minds and our hearts in prayers. Prayers that through this situation, as a race, we learn something, we evolve, we come out of this better, not worse. And it's normal that when there's a pandemic, if we look at the history, that it brings a lot of social upheaval as part of the consequences of the pandemic. So a lot of issues that were not being addressed become more present, such as the issues of racism and discrimination. So we have to pray deeply that as a species, we can get past these very superficial but yet very difficult issues, such as racism. Valerie was saying this morning that her son said, "Mother, did you know that people discriminate each other because of the color of their skin? They like each other because of the color of their skin?" He was so shocked. He never even had a concept of that. So I rejoice in that purity, and I pray that the whole world can reach that level, that it's not even a concept anymore, any kind of discrimination based on race, color of skin, religion, political orientation, sexual orientation. And for that reason, we do the spiritual practice of Tara to dissolve and transcend our very limited and negative dualistic mind. So this morning in the Red Tara commentary, we're going to read the section on Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta. The third preliminary step in the Tara practice is the affirmation of bodhicitta intention to attain enlightenment and to work for the welfare of all beings until they too find ultimate liberation. Usually refuge is recited before bodhicitta, but here one first affirms one's compassion and the altruistic intention to help all beings find lasting happiness as the motivation for taking refuge in the perfect qualities of Tara. Buddhism is sometimes thought of as a bleak spiritual path, with its emphasis on the suffering of samsara. Yet clearly acknowledging suffering is the first step in finding a way out of suffering and a tonic to all of our false hopes, our tendencies to rely on ephemeral pleasures that leave an aftermath of disappointment. We need to watch the television news to be confronted by immense suffering. We need only to reflect on the painful events in the lives of those around us, or explore the continual undertow of our own problems to confirm that sorrow and misery pervade our existence and the existence of others. Such recognition can overwhelm us and make us tired. We wonder how it all came about without really expecting to find an answer. Buddhist teachings, however, are very clear on this point. Suffering, in all of its countless manifestations, has a single source: the delusion of dualistic mind. To understand this confusion at its source, imagine a state in which phenomena arise and subside naturally, with no differentiation of self and other. This undifferentiated awareness suddenly stirs into a slight apprehension of something other, then contracts around a subtle sense of self. Differentiation of color and shape comes into play, followed by the afflictive emotions of attraction and aversion, grasping and avoidance, hope and fear. Next, these dualistic tendencies bring about fictitious formations, both elemental and mental, of self and grosser projections of others. As the whole mind-body makeup becomes increasingly dense, beings take rebirth after rebirth in bodies and realms that correspond to the tendencies that develop in their mind streams. They are subject to the karmic outcomes created by these tendencies. But lost in the patterns of dualistic confusion, they are unable to trace karmic events back to their source in their minds. In their ignorance, they attribute tragedies to blows of fate, unexpected triumphs to luck. They do not see that all aspects of their situation, including the bodies they inhabit, have been self-created over countless lifetimes. The dualistic mind, the mind that grasps at self, and gives self-interest priority over the interest of others, arises as the 5 poisons, which in turn leads to the 6 types of rebirth. Ignorance leading to rebirth as an animal, to rebirth as a hungry ghost, anger to rebirth as a hell being, jealousy combined with some virtue to rebirth as a jealous god, also known as a demigod, pride combined with virtue to rebirth as a long life god or a deva, and great virtue combined with a mixture of all 5 poisons to rebirth as a human. Once we know that such poisons are the inevitable cause of pain, of all the problems of existence, we feel deep compassion and a heartfelt commitment to find a way out for all those who are lost in this ocean of samsaric suffering. Liberation from the confusion and suffering of samsara, both our own liberation and that of others, comes about when obscuring dualistic patterns are cleared away. Mind's absolute nature is recognized, and this recognition is stabilized as an omniscient state beyond any concept of self and other. That is, Buddhahood. No one, not a terrorist or a child, or ourselves in our darkest moments of confusion, or the gods and demons of unseen realms, or a dull old family dog, not the tiniest one-celled animal, or the grandest creature in the universe, is ever separate from their innate potential for Buddhahood. For this reason, there is the exalted hope that in attaining Buddhahood, we may bring temporary and ultimate happiness to ourselves and all living beings. Those who seek Buddhahood for the welfare of all beings are bodhisattvas, awakened ones who dispel delusion in each moment by awareness and thus benefit others. The Tibetan phrase for bodhisattva is Jangchuk Sempa. Jung means that self-grasping and self-importance decrease until all obstacles to enlightenment are gone. Chub indicates that the qualities of a good heart and altruistic intention increase until absolute compassion and pristine awareness are realized. Sem means mind, and Pa comes from Pao or Palmo, which means hero or heroine. Respectively, thus, bodhisattva can be translated as one of heroic mind who follows the path of purification and altruistic intention to benefit others. In Tibetan, one of the terms for Buddha nature is Janchuk Ningpo, meaning essence of enlightenment. Thus, a Buddha is one who follows the bodhisattva path to the very heart of enlightenment. In a Buddha's mind, there is complete illumination without a trace of delusion. A Buddha's enlightened mind is omniscient, simultaneously encompassing within its awareness the single absolute empty nature of phenomena and the multiplicity of their specific details and patterns of interrelatedness. The term Buddha refers not only to the historical Buddha Shakyamuni, whose example we revere, but to the countless beings who have reached Buddhahood during the innumerable eons of the infinite universe. It also refers to our own intrinsic nature, which is never lost, but remains unrecognized because of the dense obscuration caused by our dualistic concepts. When we say, I seek Buddhahood, we commit ourselves to following the examples of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in revealing the Buddha nature within ourselves and all beings.